Now, a lot of Australians, including myself, think that we need to do everything we can to make sure that people in Afghanistan who helped us, not the Taliban, need to be saved now that the Taliban is about to get full control of that country again. Somebody who's put his life on the line for the country and has served in Afghanistan is a man called Stuart McCarthy. Stuart took the extraordinary step in the past couple of days of burning his medals, burning the medals that he got, the citations, from his time in Afghanistan. Stuart joins us now. Stuart, firstly, thank you for your service to our country. And secondly, why did you decide to take that step?
G'day, Paul. Thanks so much for having me on your program and all the support that you've been giving to the veterans community in the last few years.
Pleasure.
I guess to answer your question, I wrote to Peter Dutton back in May with a plan when I saw how events were unfolding in Afghanistan and how urgent they were, particularly following the closure of our embassy. And the proposal I put to the Minister was to conduct a very urgent military evacuation operation for the people that we're talking about. And I haven't heard anything from them since. Myself, a number of other veterans advocates, some of whom you'll be aware of, Jason Skanes, Glenn Colomitz, have been continually going to government and increasingly in the media saying, look, we can help you. We've got names, places, we're in contact with these people. We know where to go, we know what needs to be done. And importantly, the Defence Force knows where to go and they know what needs to be done, as well as people I'm speaking to in Foreign Affairs and Trade. But we've got absolutely nowhere. We've had doors shut in our faces. And I just saw this as, my last-ditch effort, to be honest, to get some sense from the government and to show the government how strongly the veterans community feels about this and to just give this operation the green light. That's the main reason I did it.
Yeah, we keep being told that obviously operation done, last soldiers out, embassy closed. So are we at the point where the horror show begins, where it's almost, not almost too late, we can always go back, but is it almost too late?
It is almost too late, but just picking up from what you're saying, this horror show has been going on for 8 years. We've had people fighting through this completely dysfunctional visa processing system for 8 years. And okay, to the government's credit, they've certainly brought a number of people home over that period, but we've got basically that same number again, anywhere between, when you look at where people are, the different roles are in. Look, we've got some in Kabul, but some out in the provinces. In that same order of magnitude, about 1,000 odd people. Look, it is almost too late, but by the same token, absolutely yes, I am very confident that the Australian Defence Force could go and get this job done and do it very rapidly and very effectively. The plan that I put to Peter Dutton back in May, I estimated at the time that doing this job would take a week to 10 days at the absolute outside. And so we could achieve in that short period of time, within a week, the same amount of lives, the same amount of people brought to safety that we've done in the last 8 years. Yes, it can be done, but it's got to be done today. And I've been saying for some time, if it's not done today, this government will have blood on its hands.
So we have a scenario where the Defence Minister in that very seat that we had a couple of weeks ago said it isn't as easy as it seems because it's not just the people coming back, but it would be potentially their families. And while they might have done something good in 2012 or 2013, loyalties may have changed since then. Now, I know that there are hundreds of permutations on that because there are lots of different people involved in all of this. But do you think that there are people who easily pass the test who, for whatever reason, are not here now?
Well, there's a lot of those people who already have current clearances. They've had current vetting. Particularly, I'm talking there about the people in Kabul who, until very recently, had sufficient clearances to allow them to be walking around unescorted, armed, in the embassy, protecting our own diplomats. Now, the other group of people that I touched upon before, these are people who, because of the bugger's muddle that we have of a vetting process, even before they get to the visa application stage, their requests to simply be acknowledged for having worked for the government are being rejected, despite the fact that they still have, clear evidence, documentation, certificates of gratitude from, commanding officers. They've got their ID, they've got all the paperwork there. Because of this bugger's muddle of a process, they've been going for, in some cases, years to the Defence Department simply to get their service acknowledged even before they go to apply for their visas. And I've seen cases where Peter Dutton has personally rejected some of those simple requests as recently as last week. So this is how dysfunctional this whole process is. Now, just to make it very clear though, none of us who've been advocating for this have been proposing open slather. What we have been proposing, in accordance with that plan that I mentioned a moment ago, is that we evacuate people not straight back home here to Australia, but to a safe third country in the region, and where it's safe, when these people are not being hunted down on a daily basis by the Taliban, that's where they can go through that very rigorous, security vetting process, and that's where they can complete all of their visa application processes. Importantly, though, with independent legal representation. So that's the proposal we've been putting forward for almost 2 months now, and we've been getting nowhere. And there's no excuse. We've reached the stage now where we're seeing the government, it's the dog ate our homework stage of excuses. There's no excuse. We've got to get on with it. We've got to get it done now. And if we do that, we can finish our 20-year military commitment to Afghanistan on a professional note, on a high note, and we can do it with pride. That's my clear message to the government.
Well, Stuart, again, thank you for your service, thank you for your advocacy, and all the best. I hope that the right people can be pushed in the right direction here, mate, because there's obvious humanity that needs to be taken care of here. Again, thanks, mate. Thanks for the chat.
Good on you, Paul. Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good on you. Pleasure, mate. Stuart McCarthy there.